Hello everyone, welcome back to a new replay cast today. Bottom left spawning as the blue Terran is going to be Cure. And top right as the red Zerg is going to be Serral here. So we have a pretty high level game between arguably the best Zerg player in the world and arguably, well, I don't think Cure is the best Terran player. He's one of the better Terran players, but I don't think we could quite call him the best Terran player. With the astronomical rise of TY, of course, I think it's pretty fair to call TY probably the best Terran player in the world currently. Now, we do have Cure with that SCV scout. We'll be able to block his opponent's third base for a bit. Very, very common on this map. We don't see a lot of Zergs capable of taking their third base. And as a response, a lot of Zergs have been playing some 2-base Mutalisk from this type of opener. And we'll see if that's going to be the case here as well, or if Serra has something different planned, perhaps a little plan to take that third base a bit faster. But we'll see, we'll see. We see continued gas mining with 2 drones in this gas geyser. As the first queen starts popping out, gets pushed back quite a bit by that first grenade. Double command center coming out here very fast. Well, actually it's triple command center. Adding 2 command centers very quickly. Queen makes his way back home to the creep, not quite sure what he was doing there. Opened up with inject first. I believe usually that indicates some type of quick spire build. I remember hearing some of the top Zergs talk about this. Whenever you see no creep tumor first, you should always, as a Terran, be preparing for some type of quick layer. There we go. Quick layer does end up going down. As the 2 queens now start marching towards that third base, we'll be able to get it up most likely. As speed also finishes, of course. All of these things combined will force that Reaper to go back, albeit only temporarily. Once the 2 Hellions do pop, most likely it will just come out again. This is a fast second barrack. I have not seen it. It's gonna be 2 cars. Oh wow! This is the ultimate greed here, my friends. I guess you add a very fast starport with this as well. And you build a reactor here, so this is a bit of a 2-1-1 build. It's similar to how the old 2-1-1 worked, right? Where you went 2 racks, stim, and then you went out with 2 medevacs and you hope for the best, but this time it's with triple CC very fast. So most likely we'll end up delaying those upgrades. It will probably end up hitting very, very quickly though, with 16-17 Marines, 2 cars with it. We'll be able to defend any type of run-bys. Now, we do have Spire on the way here for Serral, so like I predicted, we're gonna end up seeing that, well, it's not really 2-base Muta, right? There's a third base, but it's 2-base Muta. We call it like that because you get a layer on 2 bases. We see extremely fast 3 gas, no 4th gas being taken yet. I'm not sure if that's standard or not. I feel like usually you want to take as many gases as possible, but perhaps getting a good mineral count is also very, very important here for Serral. First car does die. He sees a lot of Marines. He's only 2 cars. That should kind of tell him enough. We see armory coming up. Oh, it's gonna be with Hellbats. Oi, 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 oi. Has he been building workers all the way throughout? Yes, he has been. So sometimes you see these fast triple CC builds and then they go into high Rex count and a big amount of units, but that's not going to be the case here. First medevac is out, second medevac. Was he supply blocked? Oh wait, he didn't swap the reactor, and now I realize what he's been doing. He's just been getting more cars at this point for those Hellbats, and then he's gonna be able to push here at the front. I really like this build. This is a cute build. Like I said, it's gonna delay the E-base a lot, and I think Serral is completely ready for it. He has fast Baneling speed, and he has a bunch of Banelings morphing in right now. What's the queen count like? 5 queens, 3 queens are at the front. I mean, this is a decent count of units, but without there being combat shield, I don't really think this should necessarily work. You see the push forward coming out of Cure, 98 supply against 88. Not the greatest Baneling detonations initially, as a lot of the Hellbats still stay alive. 2 more Banelings finish up. Those will get better detonations as Hellbats are falling quickly, and Serral takes the supply lead. Neither players have upgrades yet. Is there Evo Chambers out yet? No, there's not. This is a mech follow-up. Oh wow. Then why the hell is he getting combat shield? guess they kind of sell the story that he perhaps really is playing bio. There is an eBay on the way as well. Armory is done already, of course. 62 workers against 58. Double expanse being utilized here for Serral, who has pretty poor creep spread, I have to admit. That's the one thing he is really lacking this game. That and of course no Evo chambers. He's floating a lot of money. There we go. Not really floating, but saving up a lot of money for that big Muralist switch. As here comes Cure. What does he really have? What is this? 7, 8 Marines? 8 Marines, 2 Hellions, could potentially morph into Halberds if we have a second armory on the way here. Factory 4 and 5 starting as well. Liberator will be able to spot these Muralists, and by spot I mean fly straight into them, die, kill two workers for his trouble though, so it's something at least. He's gonna be losing this little squad, at least the Halberd. The Halberd squad dies, Marines get picked up, fly back home, and this should be the first time where Serral could potentially realize, hey, this is weird, why is he still building Hellions, why is there no upgrade on the Marines? Like, is this perhaps mech? Now, honestly, it doesn't matter that much anymore these days if it's mech or bio, because a lot of Berserks have been playing Lingbane Mira anyway against either composition, so it's not like this trick is going to do too much here. We have 2 floors on the way though, 1-1 upgrades as well as blue flame for the Hellions, or pre-infernal igniter I have to call it. 11 tumors coming down here for Serral at a time. You see his creep spread is picking up a little bit, of course. It's always nice when nothing is happening. We see an extremely passive Cure. We're still building more and more Marines, but it's a very, very confusing game. The one thing that you could say that it did is that Serral wasn't really, didn't really have the guts to go up to 85 or 90 workers faster, which is what you usually want to do against mech. Go up to 8, 10 gas, get a high worker count, because you know you're not going to be under too much pressure, so you want to get a very high gas count as fast as possible. I think at this point Serral knows something is up. Like, he still hasn't really seen it, but I think purely by the units that he's seen and the upgrades, he should be able to tell, hey, this is off, you know, something's weird here. +1 for the Mutas did finish up. There's what? 20 Mutalisks at this point, so more Mutalisks than Marines, but of course there's a bunch of Taurs as well, 3 turrets, and he sees the barracks line. I mean, if this isn't a massive tell, then I don't know what will be the tell that will give Serral information. What's his response? His response is 6 more Overlords, Infestation Pit, 222 upgrades, and perhaps a couple more drones. I wouldn't mind that. 12 Banelings are being morphed here. He's gonna take this base for that Rich Vespine Geyser. I do like that. I would love for him to also take this base later on for this Rich Vespine Geyser. No need to spend more money on these double geysers. If you have a double geyser that can be operated by 3 drones. 2 Taurs shoot down 1 Muralisk. Here comes a bit of a run by. I'm honestly surprised there's no sensor tower yet. I mean, this needs to be baned. Without them being banelings, they're absolutely not going to be able to do anything. Now we have a bunch of banes moving in here. Links still staying on the bottom side. 1 link going forward to scout, see hey what's going on. Sees not much is going on. Might walk in with the rest of his ninjas on the Muralist, but Taurs are in a semi-position at least, so should not be able to do too much there. 23 Banelings are being morphed. 14 more being morphed over here. As the Mutalists decide to fly into the main base. 2 Taurs. There's shots of the hull. That's very dangerous here, Serral. Low Mutalist right now. Actually, if he gets 1 more shot, he could kill like 3 for Mutas. We got a bunch of Mutas there. We went from 20 to 60. Banelings won't be able to do too much either, might get 4 or 5 workers. We'll end up getting 4, get a bunch of the Marines, but honestly good trade. Meanwhile, I missed all of these Banelings actually getting a trade. They killed the planetary, a bunch of workers. Now, these are good trades as long as there's no backup bases, which in this case there isn't. If there's backup bases, usually these aren't quite worthwhile trades unit slots wise. So if you're not gaining a lot of momentum with it, They're not actually good trades, but because Serral's gaining so much momentum with it, he has so much better eco at this point. He is definitely doing a fine job here. Mutalisk finds a spot in the natural. Should be able to just clear the sensor tower. Sensor tower is quite expensive, always nice to take one down. Here come the two medevacs with the torch. As we do see this command center fly towards that location. Worker count still is low. He hasn't been reproducing those workers that quickly. We see 3 workers in production right now here for Cure. As Serral continues expanding with this forward base. Currently on what seems to be 10 active gases. We have an ultra cavern on the way. Could be going up to 12 active gases. That would really enable him to build a crap ton of banelings. He has 34 already, 8 more are on the way. 34 plus 42. Quick maths. So 42 banelings will be out on the map here. Might be going for another planetary blow, but he needs to wait for that planetary to be done, otherwise our good friend Cure can just lift it, of course. Now Mutalisks find their way into the main base, only a single turret there. This is gonna cost Cure a couple of SCVs, perhaps even an add-on here and there. Thor should be flying back home. What's happening in the natural? There's no full wall, or get blown up by banelings more likely. Oh, Liberators. Order upgrades on the lips. They have armor upgrades, but no attack upgrades. These mutants are struggling to keep going. I think Serral misestimated that fight a little bit. He's gonna end up getting 1 or 2 more lips, but he ends up losing almost all of his units, or all of his mutalisks there, so I'm not quite sure if that was worth it. Of course, the run by in the natural was once again fantastic, and Serral's still very, very far ahead in that worker count, in that eco. That eco lead is so important. Here comes another blow up on these on these depots. He managed to do it with the links, and here Serral, I think he can go for it. Yep, there we go again. Gonna end up blowing this tech lab, or the reactor, might have been. No workers in the main base currently. We have neural parasite as well as this upgrade, which makes the ultralisk move faster of 3. Anabolic synthesis, I think it's called. 7 corruptors are on the map right here, to deal with those liberators, of course. Now the moment these banelings decide to go in, I think they will just get this planetary. There's another base going towards the bottom side. Should not be able to set up easily though, as Burrowed Ling over there. You see 2 burrowed banelings in his bases, so I kinda like that. As we see a big rotation here coming out of Serral. There's no wall over here, but there's a couple of tanks. Literally just a couple of tanks. The third tank over here and a 4th tank as well. So not literally just a couple of tanks. That was a bad trade there for Serral, losing a crap ton of links. Gonna add him getting turret will burn down, so he forces a turret kill here. What's the banelink count? Like 38 for infestors are popping out as well. Right now Serral truly has his own side of the map completely taken, right? It should be pretty clear here that he does have all of his bases, and he needs to start thinking about forward bases. Whether that be this base or this base, doesn't really matter. Corrupted moving in, maybe trying to use their Corruptor P, their caustic spray, or perhaps just trying to snipe a Liberator here or there. Just big banelink count. I mean, this should just be able to blow up a planetary if he so pleases, and I think he pleases, guys. I think he so pleases. Ultralisk are here as well. Infestors are burrowed. I'm gonna go to no, I thought he was gonna go to the high ground to take some of the high ground guys there, but doesn't seem to be the case. Liberator sieging up will get taken out by these corruptors, and the base just gets blown up, right? So another good trade here for Serral. Still slightly downing units lost, but he's so far up in income right now. 95 workers have been mining very, very consistently on all of those bases. Not a single car or Liberator harassment has done anything here for Cure, which I bet Serral's pretty happy about. And Serral's just been able to play his game. Serral's been getting +2 carapace for his air weapons as well. Still has a lot of ultras. We see a bunch of Muralers here burrowed, so might be able to take a Thor here and there. There's 2 tanks over here at that. Well, I guess it's the 4th base at this point again. And really, if we look at the bases, we see there's like half a base mining at the 3rd. There's like something mining here. Some patches are still available here, being really all the mining. Once again, Serral goes in, tries to get something done. Doesn't get the planetary. This was a field fight completely, as Cure is struggling to get back to 200 supply. It actually was a bad fight for Serral. It was like 3k more than Cure over there. He does need to be careful. I mean, he's mining a lot more. He's now taking his opponent's base as well, which is big. Should be taking his gases immediately too. You want to get maximum mining from the bases furthest away from you, of course. If you're planning on playing a split map scenario, which it seems like Serral has slowed down a bit with the massive bust, right? They're still coming along, but it seems like he's also crafting an army for the future. There's still a couple of things. Fasters over here. Oh, I think he's actually just gonna go in. And he's gonna try to take 2-3 tanks, maybe a Thor, and from there on out it's gonna be so hard that all of a sudden you're not only fighting against Lings, Banes, and Ultralisks, but also against 3 of your own tanks. This was a good engagement here for Serral, but once again, Serral does need to be careful. He needs to capitalize the moment after one of these fights is over, right? So right now Serral has a pretty decent timing in which he's just up 40 army supply. I mean, there's still some Thors being built as well. Over here we see an absolute crap ton of Lings will be heading into the natural. There's 2 tanks there, should be able to get cleaned up very fast. No, Serral decides not to go there because he prefers once again going for the bust on that orbital. I really like that it's an orbital, by the way. I feel like if you're playing against this heavy baneling style, it might be worth it to sometimes just get an orbital here, so you can lift that base. You're like, oh, nice, 35 banelings roll in, well, let me lift it for you, and then your tanks will deal with it. So you keep your mining, you just lose some of the ground units, which to me kind of seems worth it at times. Serral once again setting up for the same attack for the 4th time in a row, it feels like. A couple of Lings will be able to take out these side tanks. What is this? Caustic Stray being used on this planetary over. It's dead, no, it's absolutely nothing. What a complete stomp here by Serral. Just destroying him from start to finish. Starting with that weird 60 marine drop with a couple of halberds, and Serral never really stopping any of the pressure. Absolutely fantastic game. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That helps me a lot. And I'll hopefully see you all next time for a new video. Bye bye.